Sun Devils back home, final non-conference game of 2025 as they host the Texas State Bobcats, a team they beat by 3 last year at their place. And it is time for our weekly visit with the head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils, Kenny Dillingham, who joins us via video today. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm phenomenal. How are you?
Good. First time we're getting the visuals. See the Bo Nix jersey behind you. Story behind that?
He just sent it to me last year. So, that's a guy I'm pretty close with. I wouldn't be here without him. Players make coaches look good. So I figured I may as well put him up here because that's a big reason I'm here.
Nice. Going back to last week in Starkville, so much was made, and we talked to you last week about it, Kenny. The comments that got back to Starkville, and I thought you did a really good job of kind of cooling those comments going in. But that atmosphere, I can't imagine how loud it was there, because on television, I've never heard anything like it. What was the reality of the atmosphere in Starkville compared to what you expected it to be?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, that's what college sports are about. That's what makes college sports different, is that. I mean, so, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's not, you can't prepare for it. There's no amount of noise that correlates to 40, 60, whatever, 1,000 people banging a cowbell like that for 3.5 hours. And it was awesome. I mean, that's why you coach college football, is to play in environments like that. And that's one of the best environments when it's rocking in the country.
Kenny, I wanted to ask you about your post-game comments, really your comments since the loss. You certainly took one avenue, and that was to kind of remain positive. And it almost felt like not only were you speaking to the media, you were speaking to your team as well. Can you kind of address the tack you took after the game in terms of remaining positive and not going out there and just being kind of ripping this and ripping that, even though it was a very difficult defeat? Why did you go that route?
Because sports are interesting, because you have the game and what's needed to win. And then you have the theatrics that this is a living reality show, right? And in any good show, people want to make light of really emotional moments, and they want to focus on them because it sells more, right? And the key is to not get lost in that. Stay focused on the minor things, that if we're flipped, instead of the episode being called The Sun Devils Lose, the episode is called Amazing Comeback. And that's what I want our guys to focus on, is not the name of the episode, but the context. Why did we fall short? Where could we have gotten better? Where did we perform really well? Not the end result, and yes, the end result, you want to win. That's obviously the mission every single week, is to come away with a W. But my mission is to play very, very clean in our best football, because teams who continually play their best football and get better and better and better, and don't get lost in these, and I would like to say, the business side, the emotional side, the external side of trying to create the highs and lows. Those are the teams that just get better and better and better. And my goal is to be the best team come week 12. And I think we learned from last week. I'm excited to get out there and play this week.
In terms of what you just said, playing your best football, and obviously a team this talented, you do that, the wins are going to take care of themselves. But playing your best football, how close do you feel that you is this team to playing its best football from what you've seen so far?
Hopefully its best football increases every week. That's the mission. We did that last year. We got better and better. Look at our start last year. Holy cow. After week 1, that was scary. We almost blew a 31-point lead. We're down 14-0 on the road. We're down by 14 points on the road twice in a row. One we come back, one we fall short. We're down at home versus Kansas. It was ugly at the start of last year, but we got better and better and better and better. So where are we to playing our best football? We have not played up to our capability yet. I can say with a lot of confidence, that was the first time in really, my 3 years of being here, that we lost a game I feel like we should have won, which is the unfortunate part. But you still played really good football in the second half. I want to see us play a full game of football like that, and then go back on Sunday and get better from it, just like we would have lost. No difference come Sunday, but I want to see us play an entire good football game.
Sam Levitt clearly wants to play a better football game at the quarterback position, Kenny. I know you're not worried about Sam Levitt. He's a heck of a football player. He's a great quarterback. But what has been your process this week after coming off a game like that in terms of getting him to where he needs to be from the mental side and the physical side so he can play like the quarterback we know that he is?
Yeah. Well, one, we've got to do a better job putting him in a position to be successful, right? Putting too much on his plate. I'm putting too much on his plate. I'm not simplifying things to a point where he can go out and play fast. I'd equate it in your world to say, hey, we've got a show tomorrow. I want you to cover 7 soccer games, 4 NFL games, 19 basketball games, and I want you to be great at every single question that's ever asked you about any of those games. When you put too much on somebody's plate, you can be the master of nothing. And I think we're putting too much on his plate. And this kid's a phenomenal football player. He's elite. I wouldn't want to coach any other quarterback. We've got to make sure that we're putting a plan together, that I'm putting a plan together that allows him to go do what he does that best, and that's play football, not worry about the other stuff.
Kenny Dillingham, our guest here on Bickley and Marotta Mornings. I know you talked about this after the game too, and took responsibility for spreading the ball around more in the passing game, and 27 targets through 2 games for Jordan Tyson. I understand that he's one of the best receivers in the country, but do you think part of that, Kenny, is just the familiarity and the connection that Sam and Jordan have in the passing game? Is it also a function of maybe other receivers not getting as open as frequently or as consistently as they need to? How does that whole thing play out as you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's twofold. I think one of it's just the familiarity and how good of a player Jordan is, right? I think 2 is we're not being very efficient early in games on early downs. So we're going 3 and out too much. And when you go 3 and out, you can't get in a rhythm. And people, anytime that you're not efficient on offense, it adds to so many more problems because now you're either not running the ball enough, but then if you're running the ball enough, you're not getting other guys the ball. Well, if you're not getting other guys the ball because you don't have enough plays, then they're not in a rhythm. So I think the inability we've had to extend drives on 3rd downs and on 2nd and mediums, our lack of getting that first down has shrunk the amount of calls that we're getting early in games, which is then preventing us from getting to our calls to get more guys the ball. So I think it's kind of one of those problems that if you fix one, I think you fix 3 problems, which is you need to extend drives. So we got to fix 3rd downs. We fix 3rd downs, we extend drives. Naturally, you get more plays. Those more plays equate to more touches to more people because you can actually call more of your concepts, get more guys involved. And I think we can solve multiple issues by just fixing that big elephant in the room, the big 3rd down problem.
Kenny, I don't know if at halftime you said, hey, we're going to take the opening kickoff and we're going to run it right down their throats. I don't know if you actually said that, but that's exactly what you did. 8 rushes on the ground, and you kind of established a dominant run game in the second half. Was that just what that game called for? And I know you don't want to give away the game plan for Saturday or any games, but philosophically speaking, can Sun Devil fans expect more of that style of offense going forward?
I hope so. I hope, establishing the run, that was a big question going into the game. Going into the season, everybody, can we run the ball? Can we run the ball? I think we showed that we can run the ball, which is a positive. Now, are we going to be able to go do that week in and week out? Wow, that would be awesome. But the reality is we're going to play a lot of good football teams that you just can't run duo 16 straight times. You're going to, but the identity can be we're going to run the ball, run play action, right? And then have some quick passing game around it. That can definitely be true. And I hope that continues. That's the identity I want of any football team is a physical football team that can establish the run. So I think 100%, I hope that's the case. But we definitely, the ability to run the ball in early downs and the ability to get in good down and distances will allow us to get in a rhythm and be a balanced football team, which if you want to be good, you have to be balanced. So we do need to continue to strive for that balance.
One of the good football teams you'll be playing is tomorrow night, Texas State, a team that you have familiarity with. Really tough game at their place last year at this time. And when you look at what they've done, putting up a ton of points through 2 weeks with a lot of explosive plays, and you were hurt by the explosives last week. How much of a concern is that going into this game, and how different do you think Texas State is from the team that you saw a year ago?
Yeah, well, they're a completely different team. Almost, I mean, the majority of their starters are new, but they're very twitchy. I would say defensively, they're twitchy. They're super athletic. I told our staff we're going to start watching who they recruit because they do a phenomenal job uh, getting high level players there. And then offensively, they're explosive. You already said it. They've only had 5 drives where they haven't had an explosive play all year, an explosive play on a drive. In those 5 drives, they didn't score in those 5 drives. That's not like a revolutionary statistic of explosive plays lead to touchdowns, but the 5 drives that they haven't hit an explosive, they haven't scored. Those are their only 5 drives they haven't scored. Or there's one more drive, so 5 of 6. So we've got to be able to limit those explosive plays in order to get off the field. But this is a tough task. I mean, this is a really, really good football team.
Yeah, new quarterback. McLeod used up his 14 years of eligibility after last season. 8 new starters on offense, Kenny. The offensive coordinator is new. I don't know how much last year's game plan or game film would help you in terms of this year's contest, but clearly their head coach, Kenny, does a wonderful job with this team. What makes, I know you just threw out some numbers and whatnot, but just schematically and personnel-wise, what makes them such a challenge?
+1 run game with the quarterback. They're not scared to run their quarterback on 1st and 10. They're not scared to run their quarterback on 2nd and 6. And anytime you're not scared and their quarterback can run, he's a dynamic runner. Anytime you're not scared to run your quarterback, you naturally have +1s. And if you naturally have +1s in the running game, then you naturally get people down. And if you get people down and have a wideout who runs 10-4 like they have, you can then throw it over your head. So I think their ability to not play the game scared of running their quarterback opens up a lot of vertical passing game, which opens up explosiveness. Very similar, I would say, to a coach that was down south a few years ago, Rich Rodriguez, who's now in our league. One of the best offensive minds is when you're not scared to run the quarterback, you're going to naturally get explosives because you can't just live in a world where you're down a hat, 45 snaps a game. So it allows people to be more aggressive down the field.
Real quick before we let you go, Kenny, on the injury front, Kyson Brown obviously got banged up against Mississippi State. Will he be available this week? And if not, what's the timetable looking like?
All right, I got to be careful with this now because we do this availability report.
Oh, that's right.
So, and I'm not like the master of what the words are yet. So I don't want to say questionable, doubtful, out. I don't know what the words mean. The odds of him playing are slim. I'll say that because that's not on our report. The odds of him playing are slim. Watley will be back this week.
Good.
He'll be a go. Jalen Moss, the odds of him playing are slim. He's still out. He got sick this week as well. So hopefully the other guys will be back, but those are the guys that were, in and out last week that, hopefully one will hopefully be back and the other 2, very slim. I just don't know where our medical team's going to put that in the verbiage.
Gotcha.
So I don't want to say a medical term, and I don't know if you get fined. I don't know how that works.
Very savvy way to handle that, Kenny.
Just say nothing. Say nothing.
Thanks for the time as always. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
I appreciate it. Go Devils.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kenny.
Kenny Dillingham, head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils, joins us every Friday morning during football season.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.